Sawasdee krub, you're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest updates on news stories in Thailand. We broadcast this program Monday to Friday in addition to our website, thethaiger.com, where we recently launched Tiger Talk. It's a new comment section for the website and provides a lot of new topics and opportunities to participate in news and, well, just about everything related to life in Thailand. Just click Tiger Talk under any article on the website and you can join the Tiger Talk conversation. All right, let's get on with the news. In today's news, an international tourist in Phuket tests positive for COVID-19. Well, that didn't take long to happen. The Federation of Thai Industries calls for factories to be moved away from residential areas following the recent factory explosion. Now that took long for them to realize, and more investigations into the Red Bull hit and run case. That would most likely take long as well. Details on all that coming right up. A man who arrived in Thailand under the Phuket Sandbox has tested positive for COVID-19. The man is the first so-called Sandboxer to test positive for the virus since the island's reopening last week. The traveler from the UAE arrived yesterday and had a routine swab test done when they arrived at the Phuket airport before going to his hotel. The man was traveling in a tour group. The man was then immediately taken to a hospital for treatment, while the others traveling in the same tour group are now in quarantine for the next 14 days. It is unclear how many tourists are now in quarantine. The Federation of Thai Industries is calling on the government to move factories away from residential neighborhoods following the devastating explosion and blaze in Samut Prakan, just southeast of Bangkok. Yeah, we think that's a good idea too. The FTI chairman is suggesting factory owners could be given incentives to relocate, such as a reduction in corporate income tax and land tax. He said that factory relocation requires support from the government because it incurs high costs. One firefighter has died and around 60 were injured fighting the huge blaze at a plastics factory in the Bang Pli district. It took over 24 hours to fully extinguish the fire, which started with a huge explosion in the early hours of Monday morning. 73 homes were damaged and 1,900 residents within a 5-kilometer radius had to be evacuated. Since then, officials have issued warnings about the risk of toxic fumes from the site. Around 180 people filed official complaints of damage against the chemical company. Today, there's been 6,519 new infections and 54 COVID-related deaths. It's the highest number of daily infections outside of May 17th, when there were over 9,000 cases. The vast majority on that date was from the Thai prison system. 55 of today's announced cases were from Thai prisons. And just a quick Sandbox update, where up to today there's been 2,113 total arrivals through Phuket Airport. About 30% of them are Thai. An additional 141 passengers arrived on 2 flights yesterday. And we'll be back with more Thailand news today after this break.
Tim was sad. He had time on his hands but didn't know where to find the news. But then he remembered. The Tiger app, all your Thai news and Tiger videos in one place. Just a single click takes you to a one-stop connection to all the news and information in Thailand. Now Tim is happy. Available free on Apple and Android, hologram not included.
A new panel has been created to investigate 15 senior police officers, investigators, and public prosecutors accused of mishandling the hit-and-run case against Red Bull heir Vorayuth boss Yoovidh back in September of 2012. Among those being investigated are 2 police generals and 2 senior police officers. All 9 members of the National Anti-Corruption Commission will sit on the newly created panel. Boss is wanted for a hit-and-run case where a Bangkok policeman was hit while on his motorbike and then dragged along Sukhumvit Road in Thonglor for 100 meters, losing his life. Boss managed to evade justice and somehow fled the country in 2017 using the family's private jet. The NACC has stressed the need for the investigation to be concluded promptly, but promptly for the NACC is 2 years with a possible extension for another year if they desire. More than 300 kilograms of heroin hidden in paint buckets was seized from a shipping container at Thailand's largest port in Chonburi, just as it was about to be sent to Australia. Thailand's Justice Minister ordered authorities to work with foreign agencies to investigate transnational drug trafficking with roots in Thailand after the May drug bust in Australia involving the large shipment of methamphetamine found on a Thai cargo ship. A team of officers from the Customs Department and the Office of the Narcotics Control Board searched a container truck at the Lam Chabang port packed with 105 buckets of acrylic paint. Inside each of the buckets, police found brown plastic packages, each with around 2.4 kilograms of heroin. Altogether, police seized 314 kilos of heroin said to be valued around 950 million baht. In May this year, Australian Border Force found more than 300 kilograms of meth hidden in electric water heaters and barbecue grills on a Thai cargo ship. Following criticism and confusion over the notoriously high taxi prices in Phuket, particularly relating to people arriving in Thailand under the Sandbox reopening, the Phuket Tourist Police have published maximum taxi fares from the Phuket International Airport to popular destinations around the island. Tourist police say that anyone who is charged a rate higher than the listed prices is to take note of the license plate number and call the Phuket Land Transport Office hotline 1584 to make a report. I mean, they could just turn on the meters. I guess the salt from the ocean damages all the taxi meters? Because the problem is, the published fees are still around 3 times the kilometer rate you'd expect to pay for a Bangkok cab. 8 days and counting for the Samui Plus plan, the next step in Thailand's slow reopening to vaccinated international travelers. It's much the same as the Phuket Sandbox, but with some local variations, and will open up the 3 Gulf islands of Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, and Koh Tao. Travelers will be flying through Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi Airport, transiting through a special terminal, and then taking a Bangkok Airways flight to Samui. The final details are still being worked out, but all travelers will need to be fully vaccinated, have COVID insurance, and complete a certificate of entry. There will also be 3 PCR tests during your 14-day stay on the islands before you'd be permitted to travel on to other parts of Thailand. So as you may have seen, I've been working from home for the past few months, and one habit I've picked up is talking to myself out loud, which I didn't realize I developed until I came back to the Tiger headquarters here, where people would wonder who I was talking to, and then they'd realize that I was just talking to myself. At least now I'm talking to the camera. Anyway, hope you all stay safe and sane, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest news in Thailand. Thank you so much for watching, and Sawadee krap.